Hi all my friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm T of Crumpets Tea and Sewing here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. Thank you for joining me today. Today I am going to give a quick pattern review of the McCall's M7635, which is a pattern that I did for my Valentine's Day dress as well as for the BHM pattern designer's dress. I also created a second look, and that look I created with the Colette Patterns Hawthorn dress. I did a review of this already and it's on my channel. I'll make sure that I pop a link to that video in the description box below as well as in this video so you can go over and check out my review of my first dress that I made. I'll also go ahead and put a couple of pictures here so you can see what my first dress turned out to look like before I show you the second look. All right, so let's start with the McCall's M7635 pattern. This is a pattern that I have selected for the BHM Pattern Designers Challenge that is hosted by Natidea. She goes by Natural Dane here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. And Myra Lorraine. She goes by Myra Lorraine here on YouTube, and on Instagram she goes by @OneSoSweet. I'll put all of their information in the description box below. Please go follow these wonderful ladies' accounts. They are amazing, and I love the challenges that they host as well as all of their sewing makes and the creative things that they do on their channels. All right, so McCall's M7635 is a pattern that has 4 different variations. You have a top, a dress, a pair of pants, and a jacket. This waterfall cocoon looking jacket is the reason why I purchased this pattern. And by the way, this pattern is still in print, so you can purchase this from your local Joann or Hobby Lobby store if you're in the United States. If you're in the UK, this pattern is available on eBay, Etsy, and Amazon as well. So I selected the size B5, and that ranged from 8 to 16. And I did dress B with the long sleeve version. And I attempted to put a flounce on the bottom of my dress using this Tracy Reese pattern. This is McCall's M7244. Now this one is out of print, so you would have to get this offline. The flounce of this is what attracted me to this pattern as well as the V-neck. I'm not a fan of drop waistlines simply because my waist, until quite recently, you couldn't see my waist. So I wasn't really attracted to the drop waistline. However, I love that flounce and that neck detail, and I'm hoping to make this one pretty soon as well. Now, my original idea was to take the flounce out of this pattern and attach it to this pattern here. And the reason why is because I love the silhouette. It's really classic and chic. It's not too form-fitting, but it's not too loose-fitting, so it has that semi-fit appeal. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do that. When I cut out my garment, I realized that the dress was too long to create the idea that I wanted, to create the garment that I was looking for. So the flounce ended up falling like well below my calves. And I had already cut out my beautiful fabric, and I did not want to waste the fabric by chopping the fabric off and shortening it. So I decided to go ahead and keep the length of the garment and to use the flounce to put on the sleeves instead of on the bottom of the dress. And I'll show you what that looks like. Now, although the flounce ended up being longer than I would need for the sleeves, although I wasted some of the fabric, it still would not have been as much of a waste as cutting off the bottom of this dress. So that's one of the reasons why I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a picture here so you can see what it looks like and look at the flounce and everything on the sleeves. I did a a 2-layer flounce. So what you're seeing here, the upper flounce is made with the fabric, the print fabric, the fabric that I use for the entire dress. And then the under flounce, the flounce that is underneath the top flounce, is just a red double brush knit fabric. Both of these fabrics I purchased from Knit Pop, and I'll put that information in the description box below as well. And I purchased these 2 pieces last year after Valentine's Day. They went on sale and they were really, really inexpensive. I think I paid like $2.50 a yard for the red double brush knit fabric, and about $3.50 a yard or $4 a yard for the rose print fabric. And I'll show you that fabric here pretty soon. I'll give you a close-up of that fabric as well. So as I stated before, the flounce, so the upper flounce is of the print fabric, the under flounce is the red fabric, and that's how I achieved this this double flounce look. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what the fabric looks like here. This is just a piece that I had left over. This is a double brush knit, as I stated before. It's a black knit. It has polka dots on it, and the polka dots are white. And then you have your floral detail, which the floral detail is green and red. And I think this is a one-directional print. At least that's how I treated it, because I didn't really see the stems going in 2 different directions. So I treated it as a one-directional print, and I have all my stems facing downward like that. But let me show you the line art. So here's your top. That's view A. View B is your dress. Obviously, the sleeves are interchangeable, so if you want a short sleeve for the top, you can do that. If you want a long sleeve for the dress, you can do that. And I selected the long sleeve for the dress, but I shortened it a bit so that I could put the flounce on. You also have view C, which is this pant pattern here. And this pant pattern have 3 different pieces. The top and the dress also has 3 pieces. You just have your front, your back, your sleeves. And your neck, you just turn it inward and stitch it down. You don't have a neckband or anything like that. And you do the same thing for the hem as well. You just turn it inward and stitch it down. For the pants, you have a fold line on the pattern's tissue paper that indicates where you're going to fold your fabric to create a casing for your elastic to go through the channel. So you don't even have a waistband for this. You just have the front, the back, and the pockets. This one is probably the most complicated piece out of the entire pattern. This is a cocoon type jacket. It has like a waterfall effect in the front. It has a collar, sleeves, pockets, and you have tabs for the sleeves. You have a yoke in the back of the garment as well. So it's the most complicated pattern, but it's not really complicated. I would say maybe an intermediate sewist can sew this. So it's really simple. It's not too complicated, and the instructions are pretty straightforward and simple. So for the top and the dress, this is a knit pattern. These are knit patterns. So that's what I used. I used a double brush knit. Now for this pattern here, like I said, the McCall's M7244, the Tracy Reese pattern. It's fairly simple too. All right, so let's talk about my second look, which is the Colette Patterns Hawthorn dress. And like I said, I made this pattern before, and the dress turned out really lovely. The second time, which is this current time that I have made it, this Valentine's Day look, I love the dress. However, I made a few mistakes, and I realized that after I cut the pattern out and I started sewing with the pattern, So I am a little bit disappointed because it's not my best work. However, it looks really elegant and I would wear it out on the town with my hubby. He really loves the first look, and I'm really glad that he loves that look because it's one of my favorite as well. So with the Colette Patterns Hawthorn dress, with this particular dress, I made a mistake and I cut out the skirt. I cut out a different size for the bodice than I cut out for the skirt. And this was because originally I made two different mock-ups. So I had two different patterns that I had stashed and stored. And I made a mistake and cut the wrong pattern for the bodice and a different pattern for the skirt, and so they didn't match. And then on top of that, I had to do some minor tweaks and adjustments so that I could use this pattern with the 100% polyester, because this pattern calls for fabrics such as poplin, chambray, cotton, you know, your cotton type fabrics. And so I wanted to make sure that the polyester fabric would hold up for this dress pattern. So I had to do a few tweaks and adjustments. So with all of that going on, the dress didn't turn out exactly how I had made it the first time. And so I'm a little bit disappointed by that. However, again, I think it looks pretty decent. I did do a collar this time. Last time I didn't make a collar. This time I decided to make the collar, and I top stitched the collar around the collar. I top stitched the collar. So it's not my best work, but I do love it. It's really nice and elegant. So let me share with you real quickly another reason why I'm not too happy with the end results, and that's because the fabric that I chose, it's a really great fabric. I love the fabric. However, the print of the fabric, as you can see here, in some places they printed a gray flower really close to a pink flower. Now, because this is a non-directional print, I wasn't really thinking about the placement of flowers and things of that nature. And it just so happened that when I cut out the bodice section, that these two flowers ended up being right on top of my left breast. And there's a dart there. And when I put the dart in, it made it so that it looks like this. So it kind of, and it's not that elegant so that it actually looks like a style design, but there is a gray flower going into the pink flower, and it just looks off. It looks horrible. You wouldn't be able to notice or tell unless I pointed out, because the fabric is so busy. But at the same time, I know it's there. It irritates me a little bit, but oh well, life goes on. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but it is a mistake that I wish that I did not make, and that I was more aware of before I cut out the fabric. I do have a yard, not a yard, about 3/4 of a yard of this left. I'm hoping to make a Ogden cami with this, and layering it with a really nice shawl of some sort. And so that's one of the reasons why I decided against cutting out another bodice section for the dress that I was making, because I would rather save the fabric to make an Ogden cami. So although the dress didn't turn out the way in which I was expecting, it's still very wearable, and I'm hoping to get somewhere out of it before I decide to donate it. Let me share with you some of the things that are coming up and what I'm sewing, and also some of the things that will be coming up on the channel, like my review of certain patterns that I have already tested and made. So firstly, it's the Simplicity 2232. Right now, currently, I am working on dress A, and I'm using this pattern for the BHM Pattern Designers Challenge again. And I'm also making this for my Minerva craft make for the month of February. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the fabric that I have chosen for this. And that's this fabric right here. And I talked about this in a previous video. You all really love this and love the idea of this being a Easter dress. So that's basically what I am making right now. I am making my Easter dress, and I'm using dress A. I already made a mock-up for it and everything, and I'm hoping to get this done by the end of this week. So hopefully, with any luck, you'll see a review on this sometime either next week or in the beginning of March. So stay tuned for that. I also made a few bomber jackets with this Simplicity 8418 pattern. I really love the pattern. The instructions I'm not too big on. However, the pattern is really amazing. And if you are someone who can kind of put things together and figure out construction details without a pattern, this will be an excellent pattern. And even if you are struggling with the instructions, I'm sure you can figure it out. I really want to make this one for the BHM Pattern Designers Challenge as well. It's a really cool asymmetrical dress. The pattern also comes with a little knit bolo or that little overcoat, and I really like that as well. This is a knit pattern, so the bolo is also a knit, and it's just a really simple, easy Kalia Ali pattern. I'm really trying to increase my Sunday wardrobe, so that's one of the reasons why I selected this pattern as well. So that might be coming on the channel as well. And if I decide to make this, I will also give you my review of this as well. So yeah, that's basically all that I have today. I hope that you really enjoyed my looks and you enjoyed the video. Please comment below and let me know which one of these dresses is your favorite look. And if you have made any of these patterns, if you have, what was your experience, or if you plan to make these patterns, what would you do differently? Thank you so much for tuning into the channel, and I hope to see you all in the next video. And until then, stay creative, my beautiful friends.